Fancy a change of scenery on your New Orleans Mardi Gras vacation? Then grab a rental car to go on a day trip to explore more of Louisiana's history. Join me as we delve into the poignant history of the historic Whitney Plantation along the River Road, as well as exploring the rich cultural heritage of Baton Rouge, the vibrant state capital of Louisiana. Let's hit the road! Good morning, fellow travelers. This is Ken and welcome to my channel, Ken Travels 360. After spending the last few days in New Orleans for Mardi Gras, when we had many great parades, it's time to hit the road. Right now, we are heading to Avis at Hilton, New Orleans to pick up a rental car. So today we are leaving New Orleans to go on the River Road. The River Road is a 70-mile corridor that follows the Mississippi River towards Baton Rouge. In the 1850s, before the Civil War, hundreds of mansions lined this road. They were owned by wealthy planters who profited from trading sugar cane, a cash crop processed by slave labor. Some of these residences have been converted into museums, where visitors can learn about Louisiana's plantation history and the enslaved people who once lived and worked there. Of all the plantations, we have chosen to visit the most famous one, called the Whitney Plantation. Located near Wallace, the Whitney Plantation stretches across some 2,000 acres and is now an exceptional museum dedicated to those enslaved at the plantation. When you visit Whitney Plantation, you have the choice between a self-guided audio tour or a guided experience. We chose the former as it allows us to explore at our own pace. Now, there is also a free permanent exhibition in the visitor center. The exhibition gives a brief overview on the history of the transatlantic slave trade, like its origins, countries involved, and more. Then, there is a focused exhibition of slavery in Louisiana, offering insights into all aspects of slavery in this state. It's great to visit this before your tour, as it adds context to what you're about to see. The original plantation dates back to 1752, when it was founded by Ambrose Hidell. Originally, this site was known as Habitation Hidell. During this period, members of the Hidell family enslaved generations of Africans and African-descendant people. We start the plantation tour by visiting the Wall of Honor, which is dedicated to all of the people who were enslaved at Whitney Plantation. Our visit now takes us to the Big House, the former residence of the plantation owner. It was built by enslaved laborers from Cyprus and brick. The Hidell family lived here for 75 years. Stepping inside, you catch a glimpse of the relatively lavish lifestyle they enjoyed. Continuing our tour, you will notice a striking feature, the jail. Standing out in bold red against the plantation landscape is the first sight as you approach the lane leading past the slave cabins. Originating from Gonzales, Louisiana, this structure likely held slaves before they were auctioned to the highest bidder. This is a slave quarter. As you can see, there is very little insulation, so in winter it will be really cold. As you can see, the inside is much more basic than the big house. And this bed, it might look very large, but actually multiple people will be sleeping here. So this was how they make granulated sugar. First, sugar will be boiled in one of these sugar kettles. They get reduced and then they will transfer ladle by ladle into the next sugar kettle, and this process continues 4 times. Eventually, the sugar crystallizes, and from there, they can get granulated sugar. Around the plantation, you will also find a lot of different memorials, and some of them look really striking. The one that I perhaps found most extraordinary is this memorial dedicated to the 1811 German Coast Uprising. An estimated 500 slaves were involved in this insurgence. They were marching towards New Orleans and burnt several plantation houses, sugar houses, and crops along the way. The goals were to capture New Orleans and to free all the people enslaved there. Eventually, the uprising was suppressed, and many were killed or executed. Heads were displayed on pikes to intimidate others. If you enjoyed watching this video, please give me a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel with notifications enabled. That way you won't miss another video from me. So we're finished visiting the Whitney Plantation. I think overall this is a very powerful museum. The whole experience is really emotional. We did the self-guided audio tour, and that was perfect for us because we could go around at our own pace. After visiting Whitney Plantation, we continued our drive towards Baton Rouge, and soon we approached the Gramercy Bridge, which is a cantilever bridge over the Mississippi River. We actually saw this from the air when we were flying into New Orleans. If you haven't watched that video yet, check out the link above. So as we were crossing the bridge, let's look ahead and give you a headline of what we will see in Baton Rouge. At Baton Rouge, which is the state capital of Louisiana, we are going to visit two attractions. The first is the Louisiana Old State Capitol, and then next we'll go to the Louisiana State Capitol, which is the tallest one in the United States, at 34 stories high. In 1719, the French founded Baton Rouge as a way to control access to the Mississippi and the interior. In 1762, the French ceded it to the British. During the American Revolution, the Spanish seized control of it. In 1817, the area was incorporated into the Union, and it has been the state capital since 1849. Baton Rouge is French for red stick, and it derives its name from red poles erected by Indians, which the French explorers saw when they discovered this area. Behind me, this impressive building is the Louisiana Old State Capitol. The striking castle-like building was designed by James Harrison Darkin. At the entrance to the Old State Capitol, you can see a list of events that had happened here. Right, let's head inside to the Old State Capitol now. It was here in January 1861 that the Louisiana legislature voted to secede from the United States of America. During the Civil War, the Old State Capitol was occupied by Union forces and served as a command post, prison, and garrison. In 1862, the building suffered a catastrophic fire during the Union occupation, leaving the inside of the building in ruins. After the Civil War, eventually Baton Rouge was re-established as the capital of the state, and architect William Ferret undertook the monumental task of restoring the old state capitol, adding a fourth floor and installing this stunning soaring cast iron spiral staircase. At the top of the spiral staircase, you can find this majestic rotunda with 2,900 stained glass panels, casting an air of elegance upon the interior. The most interesting exhibition here is about the controversial governor of Louisiana, Huey Long. Elected in 1928 on a platform of populist policies, Long implemented transformative reforms: free textbooks to students, enhanced school infrastructures, and improved infrastructures including roads, bridges, and hospitals for economic growth. His progressive taxation policy, aimed at shifting the tax burden from the poor to the wealthy, faced opposition, and he wielded accusation of authoritarianism and political suppression of his opponents. In 1929, the House of Representatives voted to impeach him on numerous charges, including bribery and misuse of state funds. However, Long's political influence and control over the legislature thwarted the impeachment efforts, allowing him to retain office. Following this, Huey Long convinced the legislature to erect a new state capital, which is where we'll be heading next. Surviving impeachment proved futile for Long when in 1935 he faced an assassination attempt in the new Louisiana state capital. Shot by political opponent Dr. Kyle Wise, the ensuing chaos resulted in Wise's immediate death at the hands of Long's bodyguards. While initially surviving the shooting, Huey Long succumbed to his injuries 2 days later, marking the end of a tumultuous political era. We just finished visiting the old state capitol and it was really interesting. The exhibition about Huey Long was really fascinating. And now we're gonna head to our final attraction of the day, the new Louisiana state capitol. Behind me, this is the new Louisiana state capitol. The 40th Louisiana governor, Huey Long, worked hard to persuade legislators to approve the $5 million funding for this modernist 34-story building in 1932. It's the tallest state capitol in the United States. So we are inside the state capital of Louisiana now, and right now we're inside the House of Representatives. From the House of Representatives chamber, we headed back to the 4-story rectangular memorial hall in the center. In the middle, there is a bronze relief map of Louisiana, on which every of the 64 parishes in the state is listed. There are beautiful murals on the side walls. They were painted by Jules Guérin, an American muralist from St. Louis. Now, before we check out the Senate, we're gonna look for something specific in the building. Right, we've just found it. Still visible are the bullet holes in the marble walls of the first floor executive corridor, where Huey Long was assassinated in 1935. Opposite across from House of Representatives, this is the Senate. We've saved the best till last. We are now up at the observation deck on the 27th floor of the state capitol, where you can take in the panoramic view of Baton Rouge. If you come to Baton Rouge, you should come here to visit the state capitol. On the top of the state capitol, you will find an amazing observatory deck where you can see over the Mississippi. When you've finished visiting the state capitol, make sure you check out the Capitol Gardens too. Governor Huey Long was buried here, marked by this memorial with a statue of him holding the model of his monument and looking up at his skyscraper. I hope you've enjoyed watching this video. If you haven't already, make sure you check out my other videos on this trip to learn more about Louisiana and New Orleans. Until next time, see you in the next video.